All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started here. It's about 4 minutes after the hour. Thank you for joining us for our webinar about what's new in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2016. And we've got a lot of exciting things to share with you today. My name is Helen Jones. I am your Client Account Manager. And today we're going to have Charlie Pogue will be doing the presentation, and we will be doing some demos. Just to let you know, if you just joined us, everyone is on mute. So if you have any questions during the webinar, after the webinar, at any point in time, feel free to type into the chat window down at the bottom of the control box there. Type your questions or comments or whatever you'd like to share. I'll be monitoring that. Right above that chat box, there are 2 documents that I have uploaded. One of them is GP 2016 System Requirements, and the other one is Microsoft's brochure about GP 2016 What's New. That document is a fairly long document. Typically what Microsoft puts out is pretty inclusive, and I am currently working on an at-a-glance document that will be much shorter than theirs. It'll be easy to kind of peruse through pretty quickly. So once I have that ready, I will have that available for everyone. But those 2 are available right now. Feel free to go ahead and, I think if you just click on them, they will download for you. And they'll open up in a browser, but you'll be able to save them to your drive or your wherever you want to save them to. And I think with that, I'll go ahead and turn this over to Charlie so he can start telling us about all the cool things in GP 2016.
Thanks, Helen. Welcome, everyone. As Helen said, my name's Charlie Pogue. I'm one of the founding partners here at ASI, and I'm going to be walking you through today the Microsoft Dynamics GP 2016 release. There is a lot to cover here, so I'm going to move fairly quickly. I encourage questions throughout the process, so be sure and use that chat box. First off, we're going to take a look at the agenda. We're going to go through the roadmap. You guys should be pretty familiar with that. And then what's new. And we're going to kind of go through the entire system. My struggle here is that if you are on GP 2010 or GP 2013, you've missed 2015 as a product, which had a huge number of enhancements in it, and 2015 R2, which also had a huge number of enhancements. So while we've put out the system requirements and the What's New document for GP 2016, if you're on 2010 or 2013, I highly recommend you make a request of Helen or I. Just shoot us an email and we'll get you the What's New documents for those 2 product releases. So that being said, right now where we are is 2016 F1, right? So we're going to be talking about these things today. But moving into the future, they're going to be putting more time into the web client, a much more categorical home page that you can set to refresh when you want it to refresh. And then 2017, they're just going to continue to reinvest in Dynamics GP throughout the process. GP continues to be have the most market share and be the most invested in product in the Microsoft suite. So everybody here should feel like they made the right choice in products whenever you made them, a long time ago. Key benefits for Dynamics GP 2016. HTML5 web client navigation. So what does that mean to us? Basically that means that we can use it on an iPad or an Android unit and be able to run GP via the web client. We've got the core enhancements, which we're going to take a look at a lot of those today, and doc attach and workflow enhancements. Doc attach came out with 2015, but they are beginning to tie doc attach and workflow together, and they've made some additional changes there with doc attach that really can benefit a lot of you. Web client features, of course, everybody just wants to jump in there and see it. So now the web client supports all of those different internet programs, and it is done through the self-service with the web client. And so if you're not familiar with those terms, we need to get you familiar with those terms, but I don't want to take everybody's time today, so if you're not, give us a call and we'll go through that with you and make sure you have a good understanding of it. I'm going to jump over to the web browser. This is a program called Lonely Screen from AirPlay, but basically what it allows us to do is show you what's running. I've got this running on an iPad mini, so it is touch capable. I can do everything from here that I can do on a regular machine. So if I hit account, then there's my account screen. So everybody should be familiar with what that looks like and feels like. There's my lookup. Oh, the lookup didn't fire. Okay, so you get the gist. It's the same screen.
Right. You can type in whatever you want.
Yep, and you can type using the iPad on-screen keyboard. But everything that's in the regular GP client is also in the web client itself. So you can run all the reports, you can do all of the smart lists, you can do data entry, you can post from the web client. Everything that you're capable of doing from your machine in your office can be done from the web client. So when I first saw that, as a good conservative accountant, right, the first thing that came to my mind is what kind of an accountant would use an iPad. And of course, since I first asked myself that question, everybody's got an iPad or an Android, and they use it to run that report at the baseball game. They use it to do inventory out in the warehouse. Salespeople that are allowed access into GP are constantly using it because they're constantly on the road. So today there are a lot of uses that we couldn't even foresee even 4 or 5 years ago. So because it's this exact same application as you would run from your machine, then you can control what they can see through the same security that you control any other user. So essentially you set up a role and assign tasks for those users that you want to restrict, and there's not a separate security system for it. Okay? So we're gonna move on. You can see Steve here in our office flipping through stuff just to show you that it is the same. But that's available today with GP 2016. 2015 R2, you had to use Silverlight in order to run it on an Android or an iPad. So this is the first one that you really don't have to mess with. All they do is hit the website and it just works.